right? So it's really important to just play these levels. For me, I try not to get caught up in losing money per se. I want to make sure I'm playing the levels level by level, right? Plain and simple, because this is a game of possibilities and statistics, right? We're gonna win some, we're gonna lose some. But for me, I just play level to level, and I look for things that make sense. So let's go over a couple of things real quick. I got a couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, how do I draw my support and resistance? Right? Everyone has a different way of doing it. Sorry, let me get rid of this. Everyone has a let's pick a coin. Let's pick a coin. Let me see. Let's use Aave. Look at that. Missed my my entry by pennies. And look what it did. So I'm gonna remove the drawings and I'm gonna show you how I personally draw my lines, right? A lot of people use weekly, and that's great for swing. I think if you're using the weekly for swing is perfect. And probably right now, if you're looking at the market, swings are really where you want to be, right? Because ultimately there's a lot of upside left. And I think I'm gonna give you guys like my take on it. I think, and I used to do this too, and I do sometimes still do it. I over position myself, right? I have these big position sizes where after a 3 or 4% uptick, I basically take profit and I change my stops. What happens though after a 3% move, you're probably gonna get a retest. Next thing you know, it's gonna go back down. I'm gonna get stopped out, and I'm gonna probably miss a 30% move up. The only reason I have to do this because my position sizing was too big. So for swing positions, I like to take slightly smaller sizes and DCA a lot. So I'm talking about like a 15, 20%, maybe a 15% stop loss and two DCAs. That way I'm able to catch like the whole up run, right? So let me talk about how I draw lines real quick. If you guys have questions or if I'm talking too fast, let me know. Am I talking too fast? Because I can slow down. I'm good. All right, let me break. What's up, man? I'm good. Like my speed, perfect. I'm an LA guy from Los Angeles, so I speak a little quickly. So, um, perfect. Glad to hear it. So let's get to business. How do I draw my support and resistance lines? I keep it very simple, and I draw them on the 12-hour. Right? Why do I use the 12-hour? Why don't I use the daily? For me, I like a balance. Right? One day sometimes is a little too much price action for me. I like the 12-hour and I like the 2-hour. And we'll go over why the 2-hour. So for the 12-hour, super simple. How do we draw support and resistance? A lot of people do it in different ways. I just take the line. I find clear levels. Like for me, let's start at the bottom. Clear. I mean, you have one touch point, two touch point, this this touch point, four, five. For me, that's plenty. We're done. Next one. We go here. I like this because it's easy to spot, right? Pretty easy to spot. We know that it rejected here. Let's draw it out real quick in case you can't see. It rejected here. You bounced here as support. Rejected here. Pretty much bounces support. So for me, this is a good level for me. I'm going to keep that. And oops. Z. And we can draw. I'll say let's draw one more if we can find one. One makes sense. So this, I'll probably draw that. That makes sense to me, right? We have the swing lows here. We have rejection, 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 another rejection, bounce. Let's move this just a little bit higher, like right here, so we can touch as many lines as possible. So I'm done, right? So this is for my current lower range. I'm done, right? Let's actually move up so we can see what the real-time price action is. I'm gonna draw one more so we have one higher. So let's do something super simple right there. Why this level? Rejection. Let me circle it out for you guys. Rejection, support, this kind of wick through, so maybe not the best, but I'm gonna keep it, right? I'm gonna keep it because for me, I'm gonna look at the last point as the most crucial for my level. So I'm gonna move this up just a little bit so we touch more lines. So we have this line touch, this line touch, this line touch, and this line touch. So I'm done as far as my support and resistance. That's it. Now, how do I look for entries, right? I look for entries on the 4 or usually the 2 hour, right? A lot of people are looking at 15 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes, and that's fine if you're doing super quick in and out. For me, I like levels to be respected. So I'm looking at the 2 hour most of the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go down to the 2 hour. Actually, let me go back. I want to talk about, let's draw a couple lines. Let me see what else we want to talk about. So I look for entries on the 2 and the 4 hour. Now, how do I determine what I'm looking for, right? At the 4 hour, I'm going to do something super simple. I'm just going to mark out support and resistance on the 4 hour, right? So we have this is 4 hour because you have bounce, rejection, rejection, rejection. I'm going to mark this out because same bounce, 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 bounce. Do we have rejection? So this is for me a support level, right? This is an important point of price for me on the low time frame, 4 hours, right? So how do I look for entries now, right? Order blocks, unmitigated order blocks, breakouts, um, and RSI, right? We'll talk about how I do that. So for the 4 hour, what I'm ultimately looking for is why did this break up, right? I had an order placed down here at 64 and I missed it by a few cents. But how could we have caught this move, right? You can look at the 4 hour and look to see if there were any areas that were broken, right? Anything that was broken. So you could see here that this was your support level right here. Clearly, support level, right? This was our yellow line. Order blocks, man, I'm telling you. Market makers, at the end of the day, we're all retail. It's the market makers that determine where the price goes. And like we said at the beginning of the stream, how do we know? How do we know where it's going to go? Right? It's where they have the most amount of unfilled orders because they make money on these transaction fees, right? They want execution fees. And so market makers are going to push the price that way. So we can see here what happened, right? We see that Aave, it broke here, came back down, retested. This order block. What does that mean? This is a fill. Let's make a little box right here. So you can see that box. There were orders there because people expected this level to be resistance, right? So everyone shorted, but it broke. It broke. So what did it do? It went up a little bit. The market maker says, oh man, we need to fill these orders so we can get our fees. So it went down and retested. Once it retested there, that's where you want to long because look how clear that retest is. It bounced, real quick buyback, came back down to fill and went right back up. You could have played this all the way back up, right? So look for these order blocks. I'm actually going to see if I can use another box. Template, order blocks, Shobi. Nope. Usually like that, so it's easy to see. That's my preferred entry point. And what I'm going to do is look for a point where it broke past resistance. Right? It broke past some resistance without ever retesting it. Right? So for me, 183 makes a lot of sense because look what happened. It broke and it never came back to test it. Now you have all these. This was support. This was also resistance. So there were shorts here, shorts here, shorts here. So for me, what I want to see, where I would look for a reaction, is it coming down here? Order blocks are the best. Go down here and wait for a reaction. What I do, you guys are stupid. what what I do, what a lot of people don't do, but what I like to do, I like to wait for a reaction, right? Because a lot of times what you'll do is you'll say, okay, this makes sense, right? And you place limit orders. What happens when you place limit orders? What happens when you place limit? I love them. What happens when you place limit orders and BTC decides to be a bitch, right? What happens? You get you get this. You get the go up, you get the retest, you get this bullshit, and it just tanks. It just tanks all the way down here, right? Yep, he's from LA. Well, he knows exactly, exactly. Um, I'm gonna hope it's a good thing. So for me, I'm waiting for a point of reaction. I don't love limits, but when I give trades to the group, it's kind of tough to give like market calls because sometimes I'll enter based on reaction and it'll go up like 2-3% before I even get a chance to call it. So I'm trying to get better at my timing. Questions? Basically, you're just trying to look for places that were broken areas of interest that have yet to be retested because there are a bunch of orders lying on exchanges, a lot of people that didn't get a chance to sell or buy that are just sitting there waiting for that opportunity. Market makers are going to always push it back to that price. Every single place will be mitigated. Every order block will be mitigated at some point. All you have to do is look for a reaction to make sure when it gets there that those orders are being filled in the direction that you want. The next thing you know, you just play that move back up or down. Questions? Are we good? Perfect, perfect. Couple of other things I want to talk about. The RSI indicator. I used to hate this indicator because I didn't understand it. I didn't understand how to use it, right? I would always think that oversold or overbought, undersold, whatever. RSI, I don't just use it for divs, Dave. I used to use it for divs, but it gives me a lot of signs for price reversing or the trend. And I'll tell you why, because there are only so many divs, right? And if you want a div to play out, for those of you that don't know what a div is, let's use a clean chart. Let's use hook. Look at that move we caught on hook. Um, Missed that. Look, I hate missing all these stupid ass orders. Let's go to a blur. Well, I have some orders for Uniswap. Uniswap. Let's pick something I don't have any lines on. Let's do Arkham. All right. I'm gonna get rid of my EMAs. By the way, my EMAs, I use the 20, 100, and 200. 200 being the most important. I don't want to talk about PopCap, man. I don't want to talk about that shit at all. At all. So, so let's look at how I use RSIs and divs, right? So for me, I'm actually gonna get rid of my SSMA2. Let's get rid of all this. What am I looking? What is a div? What is a RSI divergence? It just means that price and RSI are going in different directions. Divergence, they're diverting their order. So how do we find them, right? We want to basically look at, I'm going to go to the 1 hour and see if we can spot some. And I'll tell you what is on an uptrending market div means. Okay, let's talk about how to spot divs. This is why divs are awesome, but for me, I look for other things because for me, divs don't happen that often in PA. They happen sometimes, right? And I don't have, yeah, yeah, low time frame, yeah, for sure. RSI divs are hopium on low time. But 15-minute, 30-minute, you see 3 or 4 divs in a row, probably a good chance. A SVZ one, would you say 100K in the next 100 hours? Yes or no? No, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think probably next week. So when you're looking for divs, you want to look for. Yeah, I can't even see any obvious divs here. See, this is the problem. So let's try to find a div here. Here's a div right here. So we have. So we have. If someone has their mic on, if you could turn that off, that'd be great. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, so check this out. So we have a div right here because this is on the 2 hour. We have the price going down and we have oops, RSI going up. What does this mean? The RSI, and if you know this, I'm sorry, I'm just going to tell people because I see a lot of people in chat talking about it's overbought and oversold. Like that doesn't even really matter. It just gives you an idea of what to start looking at. It doesn't actually tell you that it's ready to reverse, right? You can be oversold for 2 months and price just keeps going down, 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 down because it doesn't really matter. So if you notice, I don't even have oversold, overbought. Like that's not a thing I pay attention to. But if you look, we had a div here on the 2 hour. So we had this going down, this going up. Look what wound up happening. It reversed, right? It reversed. So these are how you want to use divs, but look at how many divs. So this entire, look at all this PA right here. This is a lot of PA. This is 2 hours. This is a couple of days worth, right? Easy. Now, if you're looking for divs, how many divs do you see obviously? Like how many are obvious, right? Here we have a weak div because it's going like this. I have a super weak one. I wouldn't call it a great one, even though it did pop. There's not that many divs, right? So what I like to do, let's get back to what I like to do. If something comes down to my point of interest, right? Let's look at something I have marked up already. What I want to do, right? If something comes down, no, let's use render. They're usually stronger if the div goes the same direction of the market. Yeah, that makes sense for sure. What I want to do is say this is my point of interest. This is my point of interest. This is where I expect it to bounce, right? Now, I don't want to blindly take a limit, right? I don't want to set a limit. I don't want to just market long it because I think it should bounce there because that's not a high probability trade, right? More seasoned traders, like in the beginning, I used to always just place limits, right? And hope they held. But as you do this for a while, you start to realize sometimes it is a better chance of succeeding if you actually look for the reaction. So you might not get the entire move, right? Maybe it's a 30%, like a 10% move. You might get 8% of that move, but you have more confidence that you're going to make that move versus just kind of blindly taking it. So what I would do, here's a point of interest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at when it reached my point of interest, right? It was dropping. What was the RSI doing? Right? Was it starting to curl? I look at the 6 hour. Let's do this real quick. 6 hour, it hit my point of interest right here, right? It started to curl. Okay. We got a curl on the 6 hour, which is starting to show a change or a shift in trend. I'm then going to go down to the 4 hour. It curled on the 4 hour. Now I'm going to go down to the 3 hour. It curled on the 3 hour. I actually do this for my trades. So here also on the 2 hour, it started curling. That's how I use the RSI when I'm not using it for divs because it signals that it's getting ready to bounce or getting ready to be ready to short, right? Just entering it because it made sense or like it's a good level for me is not enough. Also, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll switch to the low time frame. So I'll look at the 3-minute chart, right? The 3-minute chart, and I'm going to look at my area. What happened? It came down, it bounced a couple of times, came down, and for me, this is what I'm looking for right here. Came down to my point of interest. Did it break market structure? Right. So now we're not making, well, it's right here. It came down to my point of interest and it broke market structure. We had a higher high. Wait, let me do this. We had a higher high. I guess we could say this is a lower low. I know I say equal low. So let's just go to the next one. So we'll go here. I'm going here. This is lower. So for me, what I'm looking for is once it hits my point of interest, I look for it to break market structure to confirm a bounce, right? To confirm a bounce on the 3-minute, 1-minute, 5-minute, whatever. What that tells me is the reaction I was looking for is happening. Right? It's happening. Anybody have questions? Are you guys entering limits? Are you doing market? Are you waiting for reactions? I mean, what's the overall vibe? Like what's your style? Dave with the nonsense, man. That's your favorite thing, isn't it? Market structure break. Very important. Market structure is probably, for me, the second most important thing, right? For me, I like order blocks, but market structure is super important. What is market structure? Market structure. Let's just do it on the 4 hour. You hear everyone talking about higher highs and lower lows. That matters, right? That matters. I'll tell you why. It tells you which direction the trend is, right? Let's make it simple. Let's draw a trend line. We have a trend line, right? How do we use a trend line to look at market structure? You do this. You have a high, you have a low. You have a higher high, you have a higher low. You have a lower high, but you have a higher low. Market structure is just looking at the trend, but instead of having the line, you're looking at price action. Higher high and lower lows, excuse me, higher highs and higher lows means we're trending up. That means don't short. That just means don't short. Now, how do I look for shorts, right? Because it can't always be up only, right? How do I look for shorts? We have this trend line, we have this market structure, right? So we're doing this. We're going like this, we're going like this. Clearly, uptrend, right? And it's following this trend line. How do I know when it's time to short, right? When you're uptrend, you don't really want to short unless you're scalping. If you have a range or like a channel and you're like, yo, it respects this and it respects this. Okay, cool. Every time it hits the top, I'm gonna short it to the bottom. That's okay. Not a super high probability play, but I'm curious about this. How do you draw your order blocks? I personally have a couple ways. I like to draw them, but see more about absolutely. So we can do that in a second. But let me just finish this thought on how I look for shorts. So you can short if you're in a channel and you're ranging, right? You're ranging in a channel, top to bottom. You can short this way. But for the longer shorts, like more of the swing shorts or ones that are really, because this move, I mean, it's not a bad move, right? That's a 10% move. That's a great move, right? But it's still trending up, right? So for me, it still has strength. So I'm not really looking for shorts when we're trending up. What you want to do is you want to look for this exact movement, right? We have market structure, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now, what if this broke down and we broke this trend line, aka broke, starting to break market structure, right? Because now we have, it's great. Let me do something real quick. Now, if this went down here, we've now made a higher, I mean, a lower high, a lower low, right? Because this was the last low. Now we have a lower low, okay? And we bounce. And if we make a lower high here, right? A lower high, most likely going down. Why? Because we lost this level of support. Market structure changed to bearish. We now retested the trend line as a bearish retest, and we're going down. How far down are we going to go? We're on the 4 hour. Hey, this is for you. Order blocks. I keep it super simple, right? A lot of people use like the last down candle before the next up candle. For me, I look for a place where it hasn't been retested. Simple for me. I mean, everyone does order blocks a different way. For me, right here, right? This is the order block for me. What happened? It broke, never came back down. It kind of retested here, but you have support. You have, for me, you have this. You have this. This was where it broke, right? This is where it broke. It never came down to retest. So for me, if I were to take a short, oh, that's not my short. I would take a short from here, stop above the last high, something like this. Kind of a wide stop, so I don't even have to go that high. Probably go up right here, right? I play that all the way down. 4.6, 76, 476 are for me, that's clean, easy. If it broke this, if I didn't have the sign, demand zone, order block, call it what you will. I call it an order block. Don't fight me on this, professor. There are orders. There are orders that are not filled, right? Right? For me, order block, right? So this is super simple, but what you really want to do, man. If you want to take a short, have confirmation, right? I see a lot of people, and I used to do this. I used to just short blindly because I thought it made sense. Right? Oh, this is a great place to short, but nothing changed, right? We were still in an uptrend. There's no sign of weakness. What you want to do is you want to start to see the loss of market structure and then the RSI, right? If we start seeing the same thing, right? Lower lows, I mean, lower highs, lower lows. That means the trend is reversing, right? Now we can look for shorts, but just entering shorts for no reason, I don't do that. I don't even do that for longs, right? You got to look for some confirmation. A few more things I thought we could go over real quick. So let's look at my favorite plays, right? And I asked in chat a few days ago, why do diagonal trend lines matter? Like, why are they important? Um, and someone made a joke and they were like, because they're trend lines. Okay, cool. Why do they matter? Here's my Pepe play, right? I did wind up closing it, but that's fine. Why did this work? Let me see if I have a lot of those kind of let's see, PHP, Myro. Cool. Let's go back to Pepe. Low resistance, liquidity run. Pretty much, Dave. Yeah, pretty much. So I think these lines, right? We draw lines on our chart. We draw boxes and we draw a whole bunch of stuff. But what does that even mean? What does that even mean? What plan on trading view? I got the premium, man. I got it last year on Black Friday. It was like $200 for the whole year. For me, that's a deal. I use it every day, all day. So okay, back to why I love diagonal trend lines. As Dave said, liquidity, man. We draw lines and we forget what the lines are about, right? We're like, oh, support resistance. Oh, this is cool. It should bounce. But why? Right? Why do we look for sweeps? Why do these trend lines matter? Think about this. So this chart is a little bit messy. So let me try to find another one. I have so many charts here. Jasmine. Let's see if we can go to the 4 hour. Okay. Missed all my orders, man. I hate this. Okay, so we're on the 4 hour. I'm gonna close so we can see this. Can you guys see it, or is there too much stuff on here? Can I see it? It's too messy. All good. All right, thanks, Dave. Dave's like the only one responding here. How many people in the chat? Like 5 people. Where's the excitement? All right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this trend line and why it matters. Why it matters. So check this out. We went down, right? We went down from all the way down here. What does that mean? Price dropped, didn't have many bounces, price is dropping, market is going down, and we have people shorting here, shorts, 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 all of them making money, right? Everyone's making money. Short, short, boom. All these shorts have built up from this all the way down. The trend line, the diagonal trend line, what it represents is liquidity. So anything on this side of the line in a downtrend is sell side, buy side, whatever it is, buy side, sell side, whatever, liquidity. It's shorts, right? Shorts have built up, right? Bunch of shorts. What's the best way to know which direction price is going? When there's a buildup of shorts or longs in one direction, right? So you have all these shorts. I'm going to remove all this stuff I drew. So we have all these shorts. Let's do this. Shorts are everywhere. This whole area. This whole area. I'm gonna do them weekly, man. I got my setup. You guys let me know what you want to, go over, and we can do that. So shorts are everywhere. We have this trend line. Once we break this trend line, what happens? Look at the price. It explodes. Why does it go up? Right? Is it just luck? Is it these lines like is magic? Does BTC do something? Like what happened, right? Why did it go up? because it broke this downtrend and it also broke this resistance level. So this is my favorite type of trading, right? It broke this supply, right? It broke the supply. It also broke this diagonal trend line, which means there's tons of liquidity, like I said. All these shorts just waiting to get stopped out or break even because they changed their stops, right? What happens when shorts get stopped out, right? They buy, right? When shorts get stopped or shorts are buy and then they sell. So when they get closed out, there's buy pressure. So as soon as it breaks here, you want to enter, right? Because especially if the RSI is whoops, let's look at something real quick. Especially if the RSI is showing a trend reversal, right? It came down. Here was our trend line. Look at what happened. As soon as it broke that, look what happened. Look at what the RSI did. It went nuts, right? Why did it do that? Because everybody else saw what we just saw, right? These things matter. When every TA is not magic. Technical analysis, price action, not magic. It's just a bunch of people like us all looking at the same charts. Right? Everybody's looking at the same charts. I like to call I heard it somewhere and I really like it. It's called self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Everybody sees the same things. They're like, oh, it broke this. Everybody starts longing. Then what happens? Price goes up because everyone's looking at the same thing. So, anyways, long story short, when you get a break, this is my favorite type of trade. Honestly, it broke supply, broke diagonal. We have liquidity above. RSI was curling up. We got this huge volume spike. You can see as it was approaching this diagonal resistance, it was approaching diagonal resistance, volume pickup, right? Volume's picking up. So, questions about this? You guys following? Questions? This is magic, man. This is really what has made me win. No questions. You guys get this? Make sense? Magic. I'm assuming that means magic. So, yeah, man. This is what you want to look for. Honestly, if you look at the market right now on the daily or the weekly, I don't want to remove all these drawings because I have a limit order. Yeah, I have a limit order for this. So I'm gonna go somewhere else. If you want to actually do something real quick, if you want to really look at the weekly, every weekly chart looks like this. Every weekly chart. Let's look at blur. See, I missed blur too. Actually, it's back at no, it's a little bit over entry, but look at the weekly. Look at the weekly on I can pick any random chart. You're gonna see the same trend, right? It broke. What happens when it breaks? It goes. Now, if you want to scalp it, you're not looking at the weekly. If you're trying to swing it, you're probably looking for an entry around here. You probably want to play it up here, right? You got 147% move. Stops for me are going to be somewhere around here under these lows. And so you got 11% stop. You got a 100. So we have 13 RR potentially, right? Potentially. If you pick another chart, I'll look at storage. I had a monster trade on storage too. It's still running. How did I decide to enter this trade? Same thing. I don't know what time frame I used though. Maybe it was the daily. Yeah, it was the daily. It broke. It broke. As soon as it broke, look what happened. It pumped. So for me, this is a great pattern to learn or a great kind of like thing to look at. For me, super important. You break that diagonal, you got a bunch of liquidity. I'm riding this storage all the way to the top. I still have it open, right? Because I'm looking at the weekly. How do you determine how high it's going to go? So for me, you look at the top of the break of the trend, or how many people use this? Do you guys use volume profile? Anybody use this? Nobody uses volume profile. Don't know how to use it. Okay, we can go over it for sure. So a lot of people use it for a lot of different reasons. And it can get confusing, right? Use it the way that you want to or how you learn it or how you prefer to use. This is how I use it. I use a I will look at like a reclaim of so like let's look at the 12 hour. You kind of notice how my final TP lines up here. Like, why did I do that? And why is my entry here? Right? Why is my TP level here, here, and here? What was the reason for that? So for me, this tells me there's a lot of volume here, buy sell volume. Once it broke this, hopefully you guys can see this thing I'm talking about. Maybe I'll move over. Um, hide my drone. Oh, that's not going to work. So once it broke this heavy volume, right? All you really had, if you look, is air. There's literally nothing up here. There's nothing up here. So for me, you break this, you have very little volume, which means it doesn't take much to move this shit all the way to the top. So for me, I use volume profile. Let's go back to the daily to help me understand how far it could go because when you're swinging it like long or short, you don't want to take profit too early, right? You want to maximize because when you hit a stop loss, you take your whole stop loss, right? The whole thing, right? So you want to make sure you take as much gain as you possibly can. So for me, I use the volume profile to understand where I should take profit, also how high it can go. Does it always work out? Absolutely not. Does it give you an idea? Absolutely. I'm taking profit right here. Yeah, exactly, professor. Absolutely. They're not useful all the time, and a lot of people use them different ways. There's so many different kinds. This is VPVR. You have fixed range. You have anchored. Like a lot of people use this one, where you just take it from here to here. You're gonna have the specific range volume profile. I like to just have it to the left for me. This is good. It tells me how long it can run. I'm taking profit at the peaks, right? You have a peak here. You have a peak of volume. So I'm gonna take a profit right here because there's a lot going on right here, right? So VPVR, that's how I use it. Um, yeah, I mean that's it. Right? It's not that complicated. You don't have to make it crazy. Honestly, I just use it for understanding how high my trade can go, and also if I've taken it at the right time, right? If I take a trade right here, right? For example, I want to do some shit like this. Take a trade right here, right? Let's move over. For some reason, I decided I want to take a trade right here. Or right here, even. I have this big ass volume pocket right here, right? So I'm not saying that it won't work, right? What I'm saying is there's a lot of buy and sell volume here, right? And really, I want to trade when there's pockets of no volume because price just goes through that like butter. Like look right here, look at what happened to this week. It just went. There's no volume, right? A little couple of buy orders and it's going. Right? So for me, I'm not going to really want to enter right here because it could probably go up here. You have a bunch of sell volume, and next thing you know, I'm right back at entry. Right? I like to look for it past like these valleys, right? If you will. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, and then we can run through some charts, is this. How many people are using spot premium? Who knows what a spot premium is? Anybody using it? Oh, some people use it for sure. I know Jacob uses it. I've seen it all day. Oh, people don't pay attention, man. I'm telling you. I talk to people and they're like, I don't even know what it is. Secret sauce. Who doesn't know what a spot premium is here? So it looks like most people do know. Spot premium. Let's talk about it in the simplest terms, right? Super easy to understand. Don't complicate it. You see on my chart here, I have all these coins, right? My watch list. I have a BTC USD and I have a BTC USD.P, right? Why do I have two BTCs? Why? What does it matter? Okay, the first one is my Coinbase US dollar chart for BTC, right? My US dollar. My second one is probably Binance, my Binance futures BTC. Why does this matter? When spot Coinbase is leading, meaning when the price is higher for BTC on Coinbase than it is on futures for Binance, that means there is more demand for BTC spot. Whenever there's more demand for BTC spot, 9 times out of 10, price goes up, right? Price goes up. When I was longing shit earlier today, it wasn't just for fun because like it hit levels, is because this spot premium started to go up. Futures, so the second Binance perps, which is at 96,117 or whatever, there was a $400 or $500 difference. BTC spot for Coinbase. That's basically people on Coinbase that are actually buying BTC. They're not leverage trading. They're actually buying, right? To buy BTC, actual coin in big volume, you got to have money, right? So if this price is above the PTC futures price on Binance, you're most likely going up. It gives you an idea of direction. When we had the dump the other day, those of us that were paying attention, we noticed that the futures, what's up, Jojo? We noticed that the futures price of BTC was higher than the spot. What does that actually mean? What does it mean? Simple terms, the price was being pushed by futures trading, by perps. Never a good sign. When perps are pushing, they're usually especially when it's going up. If perps is pushing and they're leading, it's usually just a sign that they're filling liquidity or looking for exit liquidity up there. People trying to get out of there. For example, I bought 100 BTC at $100,000, right? But now the price is 92,000. I want to get out of my trade, right? I'm underwater by a lot. How do I get out of my trade? I start to long the shit out of futures. I buy a bunch of perps. I push the price up real fast because I can take my $1 million, $2 million, buy 50 BTC, 100 BTC, whatever, push the price up, get out of my position. I bought my spot at 100,000 and just close my longs. So now I break even on my long on my BTC spot and I've made money on my way up longing it, right? So pay attention to this. Gives you an idea of direction. Really good thing to pay attention to. Make sense? Always have these on your chart. Always have it on your chart. Bottom line, like someone said earlier, if spot buy or spot price is leading, that means there's real demand. It's not a bunch of degens like us just pushing the price up buying futures, right? Because this market, I don't care what anyone says, man. This is a futures-based market. Futures-based market, especially since now we have the ETF and now it's on the SIBO. They're going to be able to long. I think it already is live. You can long and short the ETF and yeah, if yeah, it's time. I wouldn't say it's time to short. I wouldn't say it's time to short because if you don't lose market structure, you don't have confirmation of the change of market structure. There's no change in momentum. If it starts to get close, I probably want to look at de-risking some of my positions, taking profit on the ones that are up. I'm not just going to blindly start shorting, right? I needed to lose an important level and then retest. Otherwise, you're going to get blown out. It could be a fake out, right? What you want to do is you want to see something, whatever coin is to whatever coin. We can move on after this. I'll give you just a little tip on my end. Don't long without confirmation. Don't short without confirmation, right? Especially if you have been doing this a little while, right? When you're new, I don't even pay attention to confirmation. I just put limit orders and I would just, and that's great if you have the experience to back up why you're doing that, right? But if you're new, I suggest taking calls from the people here that are like experienced, right? If they're placing limit orders, like Professor, like he knows what he's doing, right? So you can trust his limit orders, right? Um, but also, if you want to learn, like, you know what you're doing, man. I see what you're doing. But it takes experience to know why to to put limit orders and how to like have a better chance of success, right? So, like my win rate is pretty good, right? It's not, some people have ridiculously amazing win rates. I lose some trades, right? And I don't mind saying like I lose a few trades and that's okay. But at the end of the day, I make way more money than I lose. Why is that? Why is that? Risk management. Right? I took this goat trade. Neil's a different animal, right? Neil has a different style of trading than I do, right? Because like Neil has other stuff going on in life, right? I trade. This is what I do. Right? So I can look at charts all day. He has other stuff going on. Right? So he trades differently. Yeah, that goat trade, fucking goat. It's yeah, I took a loss, right? But my risk was managed and I was okay with it. Right? And we made it back in the next two trades. So it's like it for me, it's like I know some people were like, oh, I took this trade, SVZ, we took a loss. Yeah, I mean I took the loss too. But it's not a one trade sum, it's a sum end game, right? It's not about any one trade. If you're losing your port on one trade, you're doing the shit wrong, right? You should never lose your port on two trades, three trades. That should never happen, right? If you're doing that and you want to make this like a real life career type thing, um, fucking Popcat. If that shit pops, I'm gonna be fucking mad, dude. Just for the sake, like I think Rohan, I am Rohan, he was like, just fucking revenge trading, because I get it. That look at this shit. Even this price action is garbage. Although it did break a level right now and retested, so we could go. What is the RSI doing? See, this RSI is curving, but it's kind of starting to curve down, man. Okay, the 6 looks good. We got the 3 hour. Yeah, this is gonna go. This shit is gonna go. Let's look at the VPVR. Let's look at the 4 hour. A lot of volume though. Let's do the 1 hour. Yeah, I mean, look, honestly, look at this. Look at this. So we have our profile here. It's right here. It breaks here. It breaks this level. Look at this fucking pocket of emptiness. So at the very least, you're probably going to get a run to here. That would be my guess, right? So I'm not entering because I'm not fucking with this coin anymore. Excuse me. Excuse my language. Um, right here, you could probably get a 10% move. Well, actually, from where we are right now. So that's 12% move or more. I can see this happening. You got that. Look at this RSI too. Look at this. Look at this RSI. I got the boom, the big swift 6 hour. What do I always do? I look at the 6. Crossed over the moving average. Good sign. What is the 4 looking like? Also headed up. 3 looking up. This is going. This is going, guys. I'm not taking it, but if you want, you could take it. I got PTSD with this. Yeah, Popcat. Yeah. Yep. What MA? I use the default one. I don't change it. A lot of people change stuff. It's fine the way it is. I'm using the 14. I did change this actually. I don't use the EMA. I use the smooth moving average. Yep. Let's look at some charts, man. Who has some requests? We got a couple of minutes. What are we doing? We'll take some trades on the next stream. Right now, I just wanted to kind of talk about my style and whatever, but we can get into next time, take some trades if the market makes sense and see what we're doing. So, yeah, chill guy. Honestly, I missed the trade. I had an alert, but I missed it. Python. Let's see what we got. Python. See what we got. Python, Pyth USDT. Let's go to perps. We'll do this one. Oh, apparently I've done some TA here. So let's look at 12-hour. All right. Let's remove the drawings. I'm going to get rid of. I'm also going to say one more thing. You know what's helped my trading tremendously is getting rid of all the indicators and all that. I use them after I do my TA. It's too messy otherwise, right? Like I'll draw my fucking, excuse my level. I'll draw my levels. I'm on the 12H, so we have a level right here. We have a level right there, right? Let's move this up a little bit higher. Boom. Bounce zone. bounce, bounce, reject, reject. I'd probably actually make this a little higher just to be safe, like right here. Probably where I'd be. And you have a reject here. So this is Python, reject. This is our level right there. And then down below, probably something like this. Probably that's your level below. Now, it's a good looking chart. Honestly, this is a good looking chart. If this, honestly, I wouldn't enter unless it breaks. I mean, you're taking a chance right here. You're up against heavy resistance, right? This is supply up here. It's bounced. It just hit it and bounced, right? The only way, so what you want to look for ideally is it to break, hold, which is your confirmation that it's now flipped resistance into support. You're going up. Like this is probably like for a swing, you're probably looking at something like this. And that's a nice move. That's a really nice move. There's action there. Right? Got good action. Now, on the flip side, if you don't want to wait for it to flip this and you're like, I want to look for a way to enter it sooner, this is what you can do. RSI, RSI. Oh, you can also use fibs. I mean, that we can do that on another lesson or something or another stream. If you want to enter, but you don't want to wait for the flip, have your reasoning. Right? What's the reasoning behind it? Okay. You have on the 4 hour, these are your levels. It clearly broke. So it broke it the first time you had all these disgusting wicks. It went down. It filled this right here, retested that, which is the level. It bounced up now. And look at the RSI, right? The RSI in the 4 hours curling up, 6 hour, 3 hour, 2 hours. This is a good trade for me, right? It's good. I would take this personally. I would take it at this level. I don't know where BTC is right now, but for me, it's showing clear signs. It went up, hit the liquidity zone right here. Boom, got rejected, went down here. What would be even like this was a little surprising, honestly, because when you get this kind of consolidation, usually you break right through, right? One thing to look at when you get a point of interest, when you get to your support zone or your demand zone, whatever, you want to look at how deep that rejection is, right? Let's look at Python real quick. For example, if it went and it hit your block here, your demand, your supply zone, and it got rejected heavy, and then the next time it went up, it got rejected light again, like oh damn, my bad. So up, had nasty rejection, went back up, small rejection, up, smaller rejection. For me, you see this, you see the RSI going up, you take a long, take a long. Yep. What's the other chart? Does this make sense? So for me, what I would look for, clarify, I'll probably look for a break. You know, it's a holiday weekend, a holiday week. Me, be safe. You look for a break, right? You look for it to break this, retest, and then you got nothing but air, right? Nothing but air all up here. You swing that shit. You swing it all the way up here. Smaller position sizes. Forget the 20, 30, 50, $100,000 leverage. Go with 5 or 10. That's fine if you got it, right? 5 or 10 and just let it go. Just let it run. Like I probably would do something like if I were to wait for the retest, let's long it, retest, stop right there. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Right there. Yep. If it's losing this, there, probably there. It's a wide stop. We're swinging it, right? So what I would do is probably have a DCA probably right here where the yellow line is, right? For me, that works. And so what I would do, swing that sucker right up here, right? That'd be the play right there. I don't know what time is it. Are we over? Let me see. Boom. All right, I'll do like one or two more charts. What else you guys want to see? Who else asked for some market mazer? Use fibs on memes. Yeah, I mean, I use fibs too. I use the golden pocket thing. Look for the left, broken structure. Link. Woo! Link is one of those coins. Let me tell you, I bought Link for $2 and I didn't sell any of it during the last bull market. I don't know what I was thinking. Not a single one. I still holding it. USDT. Let's see, Link USDT. Link is eventually going to catch a bid. I mean, it already caught a bid, but it's going to like really catch a bid. It has to. Chainlink, swap. See what Link is doing. I think, oh yeah, I got some stuff going on. Chainlink for me is like the biggest disappointment of coin I've ever seen in my life. Considering it's supposed to be like blue chip and like amazing tech and everyone uses it, the price action, and look at it's like the price is stupid compared to other coins. Right. Let's remove the drawing. So we have simple mark out your levels, right? 12-hour. That's what I use. We got this. Look at that. Clean. Right. And you mark out your levels on the 12-hour. It's so easy, right? It broke the level, retested. Simple. Look at that. Not rocket science, right? It just is about zooming out, ignoring the noise. And then and managing your risk, right? So there, boom, you got your move. So from Blink, that's the level. We got this down here, and me, you got something like this. So what am I gonna do on Link? What would I do with Link? It's for me, it's clear that it's now in this range, right? Let me get oops, Control Z. Oops, that's not what I wanted. What happened, dude? Let's get rid of this. Get that. Got this. So clearly, it broke this range, right? For me, non-existent. This doesn't exist. Zero. Um, I do use dynamic supports. I like to actually use the 5, 15, and 1 hour SMMA. Right. A lot of people use different things. Also, the EMAs work really good, but the 200 EMA on the 1 hour or the 4 hour really is the best. But honestly, I would suggest like if you're like learning or you're trying starting out, ignore all the indicators because they'll confuse you. They confuse me. Sometimes I have so much stuff on my chart that I miss the obvious, right? Use the obvious levels. Yeah. Look at this. Look at all these indicators I have. There used to be times when they would all be on, right? I've seen some things in Neil's group too, where they have people have so many indicators. How can you even see the chart? Right? What I do, honest to God, I draw my levels, I have my idea, I add my long this thing. Sorry, I know I'm talking about something else. I add this, whatever what I think, and then I start working on indicators to see if they match up, right? Like a EMA or a point of control or a fib or whatever. But yeah, keep it simple, man. I see pretty like gnarly charts. Too much stuff going on. Okay, here's Chainlink. What I would do if I wanted to enter, I go down to the 2 hour. I'd go look for demand zone, order block, whatever you guys want to call it. For me, super simple. It's right here, right? Right there. I'm probably doing something like this, playing it to the next block. I'm taking a stop right here. Um, I'll do this wider for a reason. There's a wick here, right? I hate these stupid wicks. Yeah, I don't like that wick. So for me, it's going under the wick right there. And then I'm probably gonna add a DCA because honestly, I think it's a holiday week. For me, a DCA is something like this. That's my DCA right there. That's my link. Simple. 2.3. Most likely this gets filled, right? If we go down, this most likely gets filled, right? So you're gonna have an average entry probably around here-ish, right? If you do it right. Um, and you're gonna get a move something like this. 20% on link. That's like being rich, right? Link doesn't do 20% ever. Makes sense? What else, man? We one more chart and we out of here. One more chart. Like the professor and me were talking about. Just keep it simple, right? Number one advice. All of this stuff. Look at all this TA we did without using a single indicator, right? We don't need indicators. You can work your way up to indicator, but if you can't do TA without indicators, then you should never be using indicators at all. Oh man, you guys got a lot of charts. Okay, I'm gonna do one more, and then I can hop into chart insights, and we can do it there. I know I'm running like a few minutes over. I don't even know how long the stream is supposed to be. So engine, Tia, or whiff. Yeah, I'm kind of good with the memes. There's no time limit, bro. What? I will do a couple of charts. Let's do Tia. Let's do Tia. Let's do. If there is a time limit, someone let me know. Jacob, anybody, if you got something to do, then. All right, we got Tia. Same process always, right? Don't change the process. Find what works for you and do it. Why do you use hard stops? Super simple answer. Super simple. If I'm going to bed, I'm not using soft stops. I can't have unlimited downside, right? I don't want to get, I don't want to get liquidated, right? If I have a, I don't know which size you guys are taking. My trades all differ, right? But let's just say, for the sake of example, I'm taking a $50,000 trade, right? It, if I'm using soft stops and I go to bed and I wake up and the market's tanked, I mean I'm down, like I'm down, and I can't do that. Now, also, why I mostly use hard stops, it's a mental thing, right? I'm like mature enough to understand myself to know that if it goes below my stops and I'm doing 4 hour soft close and it's below my stops, a part of my mind says, I see a little, like the price might reverse just for a second. My mind says, oh, it's going the right way. Let me just leave it open. Even though my 4 hour soft close has technically hit, right? I should close it because that was my rule. But I'll see a little move up and I'll think, oh man, it's gonna reverse. I'm gonna be saved. And then it just tanks. So for me, I don't have the discipline, man. I'm not always gonna use stop stops. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. Right? Depends how I feel. I kind of feel the same way, man. You really gotta monitor that shit. And I can't, I'm going to sleep, man. I gotta have a soft stop. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, it's really hard to manage risk when you're having soft stops and you're not around. But I agree, Professor. I agree. I agree with everyone. I actually think soft stops are better in this market, so you don't get wicked out because we get the quick moves. But it really is about your mentality, right? And how much drawdown are you willing to take? Yeah, for sure. You feel completely compelled to, yeah, dude. It's below my stop, my 4 hour soft close. And what do? Oh man, I'll DCA here and I'll make my entry lower. Next thing you know, a $50,000 size is now 200,000 for no reason. And then when I take the L, I was just like, why did I just not close it when I should have? Right? It's about knowing yourself, and and that's okay. I know myself. Right? I want to go to sleep. So I'm gonna share a story. Okay, let's go over enough about me, but let's go over Tia real quick. So Tia, awesome looking chart. Piece of shit coin. I read the website. I have no idea what it does. But I actually none of this stuff really does anything. So whatever. So levels. Look at that. Clean. You zoom out 12 hours. 12 hours is the lick. Use 12 hours if you want to be like me. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but we got this right there. Mark out this right here. Keep it simple. Fake magic. Yep, that's what wifey says. She's like, until we have in our bank, I'm assuming it's all zero. Right. I even try to talk to her about it. I'm like, baby, we made X. She's like, it's not real. I don't care. So here we are. Here's Tia. Um, it looks good. I mean, look at it, right? This, I hate to tell you, Tia is not one of my favorite coins. right? It's really heavily VC backed. The only reason it's gone up this fast, yeah, I don't even fake magic. It's a VC scam. Absolutely. The only reason, and quote me on this, right? I'm not like some genius or something. The only reason it's gone up so quickly, this is a short squeeze. Right? This is all this is. Nothing else. Because they had a huge unlock. They have an unlock coming up. Like they just had one. There's another one coming up. They have a whole bunch of unlocks. There's VCs that bought it super early. Everybody's shorting this thing. It went up with this whatever, dude. All I know is I don't like the shit. But anyways, if you want to trade it, go for it. You can see it. Look at these ugly wicks. I mean, my God. So right now, the chart looks good on the 12 hour. It's fighting to hold this level. I don't love these wicks, right? What you don't want to see, in my perspective, is this, right? You don't want this wick and the next one to close lower than the high. This is showing weakness. Right? For me, if the next one closes, we have another candle with another wick that's like up here. That's weakness, man. That's going down. Right? That's going down. Um, so for me, let's look at let's get rid of Tia. What is the play? What are we doing with Tia? We got the 12-hour marked out. Let's go down to the 4-hour. What do we have here? Easy money. Easy money right here. Boom. Too big. Let's go a little bit smaller. Why did we use this level? Dave, what is this called? We call it order blocks. But who else? What did they say? It's called a demand zone. I call it an order block. Orders. There were sell orders here, never got filled. Wait for Dave. I know he's about to say something. Order block gang, exactly. Is BTC still pumping? What are we doing here? Sorry. Let me damn. All right. Look at that. Spot premium. That's why we're going up. Anyways, Tia, this is my play for Tia. I got the 4-hour there. Let's go down to the 2-hour. 2-hour. I'm gonna look at something like this. Let's actually zoom in. So something like that. Be something like that, right? Because it broke here, never retested. If you actually pull the line all the way through, that is support, but also resistance. Rejected, 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 rejected. So for me, this is your DCA. So this is probably what I'm looking at, something like this. So that is, yeah, I mean, that's a wide DCA though, boy. Um, yeah, I don't, yeah, hold on a second. So we're at 2-hour. This is not a great chart to trade because it's pumped so much, right? I mean, you're probably looking at, I don't, it's tough, right? T is tough with this current price action because look at this pump, right? Look at this pump. You're either gonna like reject hard, right? You're gonna correct hard, or you're just not, right? For me, if BTC dumps to 89, like I think it's going to, I mean, you're gonna see Tia get smashed, right? You're gonna see Tia do this. It's gonna go all the way down here, right? So I'm not trading Tia. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I can't do it. F Tia. At this point, you gotta look at what coin makes sense, and this doesn't make sense for me right now. This is too big. That's what she said. Um, but yeah, Tia's done. Yeah, man. So let's look at real quick, and we'll chop up out of here. I want to show you guys this BTC thing, right? Is this BTC? No, let's go to the perps. This should be the chart you're looking at, really, honestly. Copy. I'll put this in here for you guys. It's the chart. Pay attention to this chart. Don't overdo it. This is it. This is how you know what BTC is gonna do. If you get that, this too long. Too long to the highs. Sweep. We get a sweep up here. Right? That's what we're looking at. If it goes up, it retests this demand zone, and it goes and it flips, right? You ride it to the highs. If it goes, let me if it goes back up here and it breaks back down and retests here, you're short. Short it. Simple. You short it down to probably all the way down to Monday lows. Right? So ultimately, this bottom box, this is where I see us going. Probably by the end of the week. 88. Like this little box between 89, 620 and 88. Everybody hates SIA because it's dumb. Yeah, so play this range. Play it until it gets broken. Simple. Okay. Once again, if it goes back down here and it doesn't hold this level and it breaks and it retests, you short it. You short it back down here. Simple. All right. Man, I think we're good. I think we're good. Does anybody have any questions, like specific things I talked about? Like maybe you didn't quite understand it. Happy to discuss it real quickly. Good stream. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll watch the recording too. Make sure like, my tone and my speed and you know, whatever. But yeah, man, thanks you guys for joining. Um Eloquent. Wow. Appreciate it. This is actually my first stream, my first live stream I've ever done. So like forgive me if I was like a little weird. I'll get it together, but more cursing. I realized it was gonna be recorded, right? And I was like, damn, I'm thinking maybe it's on YouTube or whatever, and I'm cussing. I need to be more professional like Neil. Neil's like, hey guys, how are you? When I first heard Neil, man, I was dying because I didn't think he would talk like that. But um yeah, for sure. Just be me. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um but yeah, man, thank you guys for joining. Good luck trading. Play the levels. What else? Risk management, risk management, and you know, thanks. Appreciate it. Talk to you guys later.